Cotton!
Not exactly.
What do you mean, not exactly? Why are you red?
I'm not Cotton, I'm Red Cotton.
But you're exactly the same.
That's not true.
Someone just spray painted you red.
That's correct, and this version of me uses a greatsword.
Are you trying to teach me something or just being really weird?
Isn't it obvious, Timmy?
No. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to talk about an exciting topic. Subspecies. Is he serious? Listen, I know some of the subspecies we have gotten in the past have been a little, subspecies par? Aha! But every subspecies from a recent game has made a genuinely interesting change to the fight. Look at the 4 U babies. Look how glorious they are. Stare at this Sam Trios. Anyways, when it comes to subspecies, you have to make them both interesting and plausible. And today's subspecies are all creations of the enigma that is my mind. So I can only say that I've done my best to do all of these monsters right.
Number 5. Dolphinodo.
Hold your fucking horses. I know what you're thinking. I came here for a serious list and you've started by immediately trying to merge a legitimately cool creature with a dolphin, but you're just not picturing it right. Once upon a time, a small sect of Odogaron managed to travel to a new locale known as the Hoarfrost Reach. Upon arrival, the Odogarons immediately realized one thing. They fucking love snow. These Odogarons stayed at the Hoarfrost Reach and over a long period of time have developed different tendencies than their Veil living brethren. Their skin has become significantly paler, though their blood still glows red when fed, and the main source of their offensive potency comes from ambush tactics using the snow as their own personal tunnel system, much like the literal tunnels that the Odogaron use in the Rotten Vale. These Odogaron have mastered not only the act of digging through the snow and upper layers of ground, but also the act of traveling through these tunnels while doing so, and as such, the Snow Dogaron— did you just call him Snow Dogaron? That is completely irrelevant! Dolphin Odogaron as such lives up to his name with his signature attack, the Dolphin Dives. Straight up out of the snow and right back in. Within moments he will emerge from a totally different spot, and he repeats this a few times. His moveset would also include a bunch of fun stuff using the snow as camouflage, as instead of jumping back away after a move, he could just dive right back into the snow, creating a fight where your opponent feels almost like a ghost, diving in and out of snowbanks vertically or horizontally, blindingly fast and hard to counter. One of my favorite potential interactions with any of the monsters I've come up with today actually belongs to this guy too. As I mentioned earlier that he still gets the red blood when fed, well, that is because he has the same effect as normal Odogaron, where you can feed him when he's exhausted and it heats up his blood, which is what makes it red. But unlike regular Odogaron, this actually changes the fight significantly for Dolphinodo, as like regular Odo, he becomes hot enough to create steam. However, in the snow, it actually completely melts the snow he is tunneling through. So instead of diving in and out of piles of snow, he instead creates massive trails in the snow with all of the melted snow turning into a thick mist, sort of like Chameleos' fight, and it wouldn't do anything other than obstruct your vision a little, but it would be a super neat, unique interaction that could happen, and that is honestly the backbone of making a monster feel like a real living creature, and I love it.
Number 4. Gas Lantern Titsy Yaku.
Stand back and peep the light show. Green Lantern's got this.
Do I have your attention now, my beautiful audience? I hope so, because I think you'll enjoy the concept of this one. Do you guys remember good old Titsy Yaku? No? Yeah, most people don't even think about him unless you mention his name, and that just isn't fair. But you could say the same about most monsters in this game below the tier 2 tempered level, which makes them even more worthy of a strong subspecies, wouldn't you agree? Well, I introduce to you Gas Lantern Titsy Yaku. This subspecies of everyone's favorite flashy boy, fuck you Gypsaros, has the unique ability to fully control the intensity of the light coming from his pulse organs, as the game calls them. Before I dive totally into that, this good boy would live in a super deep cave system, inhabiting the darkest reaches of it to the point where his surroundings, when unaltered, are nearly pitch black. These Titsy Yaku, however, having lived in this cave system longer than the Queen has lived in Buckingham Palace, can see nearly perfectly in the dark. Now that you have the environment you would fight one in your head, now picture finding one, because the dark walls of the caves you've been searching through have just started to illuminate lightly from a distance, almost like someone just has a flashlight on far away, but you take a step, accidentally break a twig, and bang! Lights out. You turn around to check behind you, only to turn back and see the nearly pitch black face of this creature with little white streaks leading upwards into strange organs out of his face. Flash! You're not stunned. What is this? It's still happening. All you see is white. This isn't the feeling of frustration you normally get when fighting a Titsy. There's no stun, but the screen is now just so white. coming like a beacon from this new monster's head. You hear a slight clicking noise as the monster sets down a new set of eyelids, and suddenly he's attacking you like nothing is happening, the source of the light moving with him. He is stronger than a normal Tissy, he is faster than a normal Tissy, he has multiple sets of variously translucent eyelids so he can fight you at any level of illumination without hurting his eyesight, and guess what? His pulse organs face a full 360 degrees around him. As you fight him, he changes light levels slowly and passively for the entire area that you are fighting in, with the brightest light only achievable when enraged, but essentially equivalent to how it looks when he's literally doing that 1 second of flash that stuns you. However, the light level can still vary massively across even 10 seconds of the normal fight. The idea of this monster is not to create an overly difficult fight due to numbers, but to create an incredibly memorable experience where the hardest part of the fight is controlling your own senses to keep track of your opponent. I hope you guys like him, because I know I do.
Number 3. Treehopper Toby Kadachi.
Toby, oh Toby, you were always one of my favorite monsters, and I still hold to this day that you are underrepresented and underappreciated. So here is a chance to turn that around. Brought to you by me. Basic Squirrely Boy Toby over here is one of the most agile fighters in the new world. Super quick, glides through the air, slams down with his tail frequently, as well as having static electricity as one of his main offensive options. The Toby Kadachi, native to the Hoarfrost Reach, however, have experienced some significantly denser forests, as Arctic forests tend to be just tons of skinny but incredibly tall trees, and as such have little need for gliding. The tree hopper Toby Kadachi climbs high up in said trees and travels by simply jumping off of one and onto the next with blinding speed. The glidey wings are still there, but due to lack of use, they no longer take part in the tree hopper's offensive moveset and are instead just used to either take a safer jump from a high place down or to stabilize midair. With skin as dark green as the needles of a pine tree, he is still covered with white fur, however it is much softer as if to mimic the look and feel of snow. Tree hopper Toby Kadachi is still a thunder monster, however he seems to have slightly better control of it. This Toby, instead of needing to release his energy almost immediately, is entirely capable of storing the electricity within his fur on a more long-term basis, and he can actually shift it around to different parts of him while he attacks. For example, if you were to do a hip check or a shoulder bash, it would come with an added electrical punch, sort of like if you were to run face first into an electric fence. The other main change from regular Toby is that Treehopper can actually jump from tree to tree while fighting. Where Toby will occasionally jump up and then right back down, Treehopper instead can transfer trees without attacking, and also has a number of attacks he can choose to use from the tree, making this a bit more of a vertical fight. However, it also gives you a ton of opportunities to flash him, as if you predict his movement right, you can catch him between the trees, knock him right the fuck down with a flash. How do you guys feel about the Treetop Terror? Oh, that's the quest name.
Number 2. Mountain Top Paluma.
Cotton, isn't mountaintop one word?
Not in this case, Timmy!
But Cotton, the English language doesn't do—
Shut up, Timmy!
Alright then. Mountaintop Paluma would live way up in the highest reaches of the Hoarfrost Reach, where the air is cold enough to freeze the hair off a cat. Thankfully, mine is already naked.
Please stop pointing that out to people.
The Paluma that live here are suitably adjusted to the cold and in fact use it to their advantage. On top of the regular sack that Palumas have for the air, the Mountaintop Paluma also has a sack that is loaded with what is essentially liquid nitrogen. Now, Mountaintop Paluma, similar to regular Paluma, has two states, puffy and non-puffy. So let's go over non-puff real quick. Sad Deflated Paluma, which would be a hilarious subspecies name by the way, would have access to ice beams similar in concept to Glacial Ignactor, but significantly less powerful. This would replace his sort of little wind thing that makes a little tornado. The stream of beam coming out from the Mountaintop Paluma is actually barely painful at all, physically speaking, but it has the cold of 1,000 suns in reverse, and as such, adds a slightly new mechanic to the game. If hit by the beam, you just get ice debuff and knocked back a little, but when the beam hits the floor, it actually creates a patch of ice, completely changing the structure of the area. The ice functions like you have bubble debuff from Mizitsune in Generations, making you slide all around whenever you walk around it, and that builds up too. This idea came completely from Josh, thank him for that, but it is fucking awesome, isn't it? I've decided that there is no natural timer for these ice patches, so you could potentially have them fill the area just completely. Alternatively, one of two things can happen. First, First, you can bring a fire weapon. Sort of like bringing a water weapon to fight Lunastra, you can use a fire weapon to slowly remove the patches of ice on the floor. And the second thing that can happen actually leads us to Mountaintop Palumu's puffed up state. Would you please stop enunciating it like that? No, I won't, and soon I'll tell you why. Like normal Palumu, Mountaintop sucks in a ton of air and gets a sort of short, cylindrical, puffed up neck. However, unlike regular Palumu, once filled with air, Mountaintop releases a little of his liquid nitrogen-esque substance into the mix, instantly creating a block of ice in his neck, which while looking the same turns his head into essentially a solid block of ice with a face sticking out the middle, and as such he uses his neck as a hammer. Yes, you heard me right. He starts whipping his head around at you, trying to smush you. In this state, Mountaintop Palumu can fly, but if he does take to the air, he is ridiculously slow, and as such, he becomes a lot more grounded during this phase of his fight. This section of the battle ends with the namesake becoming clear, as Mountaintop Palumu will release a small amount of extra liquid nitrogen around its face to create a sort of helmet out of ice, and then he dives headfirst onto the ground, spinning like a top. Moving erratically and covering essentially the entire area. If he hits any ice patches, he both speeds up and changes direction as he slides along it, as well as destroying the patch after this interaction. So a monster that freezes its own neck for use as a weapon and then spins its entire body at you like a top. And yet, my imagination of this fight, and hopefully yours as well, isn't even that silly. It's just plain cool.
Number 1. Snow Dou Gamma.
Happy birthday! Hey, I said my first words. But snowmen can't talk.
Alright, I'll be the first to admit this one might be a touch shallow and self-serving. I love Dou Gamma. I want to see him more, but like, way more. Like, I want to see him every day. Maybe even wake up next to him in the morning. Moving on, the main difference with Snow Dou Gamma is in fact a love of snow. Like the Odogaron, the Dodo are brilliant creatures and understand both how much fun snow can be and how cute they would look submerged in it. As such, an important fact is similar to how normal Dou Gamma can be found sleeping inside of the ground while injured, Snow Dou Gamma can be found submerged almost entirely in snow, but he can also be found like that almost all the time. When not in combat, you're most likely to see Snow Dou Gamma rolling around and enjoying himself and making snow angel gammas, but in combat, he turns deadly. Dou Gamma's greatest assets in combat are his rocks of all kinds which he can fire back at you in a molten manner. The Snow Dou Gamma, however, does not work this way. Instead, eating snow and shooting out big balls of snow, similar to the ones Tigrex throws at you. When shoving his jaw on the ground and doing his charge attack, instead of eating the rock like regular Dodo, the Snow Dou Gamma actually pushes the snow in front of him, sort of like a giant shovel, while masterfully shaping it into a giant ball. He repeats this motion back and forth along the snow in a sort of zigzag pattern as the ball keeps getting bigger. He will keep going until either he hits you and the ball breaks when it does this, or if he is content with its size, which leads me to the most unique part of this fight, the win condition. Sure, if you are a sadist, you can kill the Snow Dou Gamma just like the regular Dodo, because you're a terrible person. If you want to ease the pain a little, you can capture him too like the regular one, which is what normal people do, you fucking sadist. But Snow Dou Gamma has a unique way to finish the quest peacefully. If you can avoid being hit while Snow Dou rolls his ball of snow, it will stay where it finishes. If Snow Dou does his attack again, he will make a new ball. However, he won't build it quite as large, and when it is done, he will deposit it directly on top of the previous ball. That's right, the Snow Dou Gamma is building a snowman!
Do you wanna build a snowman?
The hidden win condition of this fight is to help him do it. In various zones, you'll be able to find a carrot nose and a stovepipe hat, bringing them all together with Dodo to work together and create the perfect snowman, achieving Snow Dou Gamma's life goals and ending the hunt peacefully, as the Snow Dou no longer has any reason to do anything destructive towards humanity. Yes, I created a Dou Gamma that you can defeat without hitting it once. What else do you expect from the man literally using 2 little fluffy pillows to tickle him in the background? Alright everyone, I've been Cotton Dinosaur, and those are my top 5 subspecies for Iceborne. Let me know what you think of mine, and of course let me know which subspecies you think would work best. Like if you liked the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.